Hello and welcome to Dave's Geek Stuff, and today I need to model something that I need to 3D print, so I thought why not do it and put it online. I need to model an adapter which basically goes from a motor to a potentiometer, and the potentiometer has a protrusion that's about 1 centimetre long and it's about 7 millimeters in diameter, and it's sort of got some teeth on it. And the other end where the motor goes in, the motor end is 5 millimeters by 3 millimeters, and it's got rounded edges. So I need to make an adapter where I can put one on one end and one on the other, and then as the motor turns, it'll also turn the knob for a robotics project that I'm doing. And I decided the best way to do this was to buy a 3D printer, which I've done. It hasn't arrived yet, but in anticipation of its delivery, I'm going to create the piece I need. It's very, very easy to do just using splines and using the Loft tool, which is just a fantastic tool. So splines are basically just a collection of points that form objects, but if you put a spline, for example, if I put a rectangle on here and zoom out a bit, you'll see the rectangle is there, but if I actually click to render that, you get nothing, because it's not actually been turned into an object, it's just representing the points. If I put that on the XZ plane, so it's laying flat to the floor, and I'm going to make this the size of the little entrance where the motor's going to go in, and I'm going to do this all at 10 times the size, just to make it easy. And I've also gone to mode, gone to modeling, gone to quantize, and clicked on enable quantizing, and brought the movement down to 1 centimeter. And by doing that, it means that I can move things around exactly 1 centimeter without having to worry about holding down shift while I'm doing it, or it only moving 10 centimeters at a time. I'm dealing with something that's quite small here, and I'm already using a 10 times scale, so that will be fine for me at the moment. So I'm going to make this 5 by 3, which is the motor socket size. And I'm going to round those edges off just a little bit. And I'm going to make it a copy of that. So I move it, hold down control while I'm moving it, move it up 5 centimeters, which is actually 5 millimeters when I print it, and let go. And it makes a copy. So all I've got there is 2 splines. Click to preview and you see nothing. So now I'm going to go into a different view. I'm going to go into the right view. I want to see my order of these. I want this one to be first, that one to be second, and then I'm going to make a third spline, which is going to be a circle, again on the XZ plane. At the moment, the radius of that is 200, and I actually only want it to be 10 centimeters, which will be 1 centimeter. Oh, 10 centimeters, not 0. So now you can see there's a longer line down there, and then I can shift that up by 1, hold down control, make a copy, shift it up some more, up to 10. Not up to 10. I mean up to 10 centimeters, but up 9 to 10 centimeters. And then if we go back into our view here, you see this arrangement, which is all very nice. So I'm going to put all of that inside a loft. And we will very soon see that the whole thing doesn't quite look as we wanted. So the first thing I'm going to do is change the order. The order of this is all wrong. So I want to start with the hole that's inside, then the hole that's at the bottom, then the first circle, then the second circle, and then the last circle. And I actually think I need to turn these rectangles round again. Yes, I do. Got that wrong. And there we go. You see there's an insert in the bottom, although it's a bit bulged out and looks weird. So I'm going to go to the loft and go to linear interpolation, or I could just turn up some subdivisions and round that off nicely if I was doing a more rounded object, but I'm not in this case. I'm just going to go to linear interpolation. You can see now there's a hole, and if I go inside the object, which will be filled when it's printed, but you'll see that there's a protrusion. So back to my right view here. The other end is 7mm in diameter, and it's kind of got some teeth. So I want to start working towards that. I'm going to go to circle 2. I'm going to bring this up, say 3 centimeters, which will be millimeters, and I'm going to get some padding around this 7mm hole. So really I want 5mm either side, maybe 4, call it 4. So and I want the hole to be slightly bigger because I want it to have some teeth. So if it was 8 and then I want 4 each side, that's going to be 16. As you can see, that then brings it out. I'm going to bring this up and hold down Control to make a copy of it. And the whole thing's about 1 centimeter long, and I'd like it to fit as much of it inside as possible. So I'm going to make this 15. So there's a 5mm of padding before it hits this this increase in size. So right now it looks something like that. Go back to our right view. I'm going to now add in a different spline, which is the star, and I'm going to bring that down to the bottom of the loft. I'm going to lift this up to, in fact before I lift it up to the top, I need to put it on the XZ plane, and then I need to lift it up to the top, which is 28 centimeters so far, which will actually be 28mm, and in the outer radius of that I want to make, let's say the inner teeth's going to be 7mm, so I want this to be 9mm, so that will be 9 centimeters, and the inner will be 7. So if we now go to there, you will see, oh no, you can't see, I need to put display lines on. You will see that there's now a star pattern being formed there. And now, the same as I did with the bottom where I want it to go inside, I bring this down and then hold down Control for 10 centimeters, which will be 1 centimeter, and it's now made the hole. So that, technically, I could just take and 3D print, but I'm going to tidy it up a bit and probably make it a little bit longer. So I'm going to start by selecting the 2 stars, up the number of teeth in that, the number of points, so not going to go too mad, just maybe up to 20, something like that. That seems quite reasonable. And I'm going to play with the height a little bit. Probably don't need that second circle there. I don't think that's doing a huge amount. If I wanted to round the bottom a little bit, I could bring that in, and that would create a nice sort of beveling effect at the bottom. But yeah, there's no real purpose for that other circle. Sometimes when you're doing non-linear interpolation, having that second circle in there sort of gives you an adjustment on where the bulge will sit. But in this case, it's not required. So I'm going to bring that back and I'm just going to delete it. Less you have to worry about, the better. So I'm going to make it a bit bigger. I'm going to select this second circle and right up to the stars and just lift them all up by another 15 centimeters, which will be 15mm. And then I'm going to take just the top circle and the 2 stars and lift this up by another 10 centimeters. So yeah, that's enough editing on that. I will go back to here and have a look at the final object. And I think that looks pretty much how I want it to be. Hopefully the 3D print of it will come out looking just like that. That's a whole new adventure that I know nothing about. So just to give it some depth when I render it, I'm going to put a floor in. I'm going to do the usual kind of stuff, put some lights. I'll do this from the top. So I'm going to have a light there. I'll copy a light to the back here, and I'll copy another light over to the side. Make them all have some nice shadows, and then maybe create a material. I'm going to use one of the quick node materials. Go for a plastic, kind of like a just off-white plastic. I'm going to whack that over the loft, and hopefully it should come out looking something like that. So I can put the motor on one end. If I turn it round, select all the splines and turn it round, we can see that it has the motor socket on one end and the pot socket on the other. So there it is. I'm going to have another go at this using a different method in the next video, which is probably how I'll do it. I'll make these two pieces as two separate bits and have a joining block so that I can extend as necessary. So until then, please subscribe, like the video, share it, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.